Welcome to our second session of this series entitled Impact. I hope you were blessed during our first session. We talked about security, and today we're going to have a very important topic again. And again, these 5 sessions that we're going to look at in this series will help us, or hopefully will help you guys, make a positive impact in this world. And you might be asking why the title of this series is Impact. The reason is a lot of young people want to make a positive impact in this world, but a lot of people are missing it out. And the truth is, God also wants you to make a positive impact, a lasting impact in this world. So that's what we are going to learn together. And again, my prayer is that after you finish this entire series, that you would pass it on to someone else. So today, we have an exciting topic. If last time we talked about security, today we're going to talk about acceptance. And that's also very important. In fact, I believe every single person, especially the young people, they long for acceptance. And especially nowadays, there are a lot of problems at home, a lot of broken families, a lot of broken relationships. They're longing for acceptance in different places. They want acceptance from their friends. They want acceptance from orgs or activities at school. For some people, by getting high grades, they feel accepted. For some people, if they have many likes on Facebook or followers on their social media account, they feel like they're accepted. But what if I tell you that there's a kind of acceptance that once you receive it, it will drive you to make a lasting and positive impact here on earth? Because that's what we are going to learn together today. In fact, there's this guy, his name is Zacchaeus, and that's what we're going to look at, his story. Because this guy, in Luke chapter 19, verse 2, if you have your Bibles with you, we're going to look at his story. It says here, there was a man called by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector, and he was rich. Now, if you look at his story, he's rich. Most people would say, well, that's good enough. But still, I believe he wanted acceptance. How do I know that? Because during that time, if you're a tax collector, a lot of people hate you. They think you're a grabber. They think you're a liar. You're a cheat because all you wanted was money. So during this time, Jesus went to where Zacchaeus was. Look at the next verse. In verse 3, Zacchaeus was trying to see who Jesus was because Jesus appeared in their town and was unable because of the crowd, for he was small in stature. So he was a small man. A lot of people hate him. Definitely. He felt insecure. Maybe he felt that, yes, I have all the money, but nobody loves me. So what's going to happen with my life? So now that this Jesus was here, and maybe he heard that Jesus was the one who makes miracles, Jesus was the one who accepts people, he wanted to see Jesus. He wanted to talk to Jesus. So look at the next verse. In verse 4, he ran on ahead, climbed up into a sycamore tree in order to see him. So he really wanted to see Jesus. He was about to pass through that way. So that's what happened in verse 4. And look at the next verse, in verse 5. When Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for today I must stay at your house. Now, this is quite surprising if you ask me, because the people, all of them were already there, listening to Jesus. But somehow, Jesus took notice of Zacchaeus. In fact, maybe one of the reasons why Jesus came to that place was because he wanted to meet Zacchaeus. And he wanted the people to see what he's going to do in this man's life. Look at the next verse. In verse 6, he hurried and came down and received him gladly. Of course, if you're this guy who feels insecure, unaccepted, a lot of people are angry at you, of course, if there's this man who is so popular during that time, called your attention, you would hurriedly come down and meet with this guy. But look at the reaction of the people during that time. In verse 7, when they saw it, they all began to grumble. They were complaining. What were they saying? He has gone to be the guest of a man who is a sinner. Look at the view of these guys towards Zacchaeus. That's how you know Zacchaeus was maybe insecure. Maybe he was longing for acceptance. Because a lot of people hate him. A lot of people view him as a sinner, someone who is bad, someone who's after our money. But here's Jesus accepting this person, welcoming this person, and wanting to stay at his house. What is Jesus trying to point out here? Look at the next part, because you will be surprised what's going to happen in the life of Zacchaeus. Now, between verse 7 and verse 8, we don't know really what happened. We don't know the conversation of Jesus and Zacchaeus. It's not written there. But somehow, the conversation inside Zacchaeus' house made a difference in his life. Because in verse 8, this is what happened to the man called Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus stopped and said to the Lord, "Behold, Lord, half of my possessions I will give to the poor. And if I have defrauded anyone or anything, I will give back how many times? 4 times as much." Look at the change of heart. This is what I call a miracle. From someone who is a bad person, now he's making a difference, making an impact. And look at the next verse, in verse 9. And Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because he too is a son of Abraham." And this is a shocking statement coming from Jesus. Because the Jewish people, they don't accept Zacchaeus as part of the son of Abraham. But somehow, here's Jesus declaring to the people, this guy is also a son of Abraham. And finally, look at verse 10. I think this is the reason why Jesus came here, to tell the people, for the Son of Man has come to seek and to save that which was lost. That's the reason he passed through that town. That's the reason he wanted to see Zacchaeus. Not just for Zacchaeus, but for the people around. For them to see that, hey, when your life is in Jesus, he welcomes you. He accepts you. He can make a difference in your life. There are 3 things I realize about the acceptance of Jesus. First thing that I realize is this. When Jesus accepts you, he accepts your past. Whatever bad thing you've done in the past, you might be thinking, well, you don't know me, Kuya Marty. I've done so many crazy things. I've done so many stupid things. My sin is on top of that hill already, or even on top of the mountain. I couldn't count how many bad things I've done. My parents hate me. I have bad relationships. I've done crazy things in the past. You know what? Let me tell you the truth. God loves you very much. He accepts your past. And not just that. The acceptance of Jesus, it's not just about accepting your past. Number 2, he heals your present. Because here's the thing that I realize about past things. It haunts us. If we don't know how to deal with it, it haunts us. That's why a lot of people are depressed. A lot of people are broken. A lot of people are suicidal. Why? Because the baggages that they carry, they couldn't let it go. They couldn't drop it off. They don't know how to handle it. They think it's too heavy for them, and they think that they need other people to show them acceptance, other things to show them acceptance, social media to make them feel accepted. But it's not going to remove the baggages. But here's Jesus. He is saying to you, I can heal your present. I know you're carrying a lot. I know you have a heavy past. And right now, you're just broken. He can heal your present. And finally, if you receive the acceptance of Jesus, he's not just going to accept your past. He's not just going to heal your present. He's going to empower your future. Look at what happened to Zacchaeus. We don't know the discussion of Jesus and Zacchaeus. But look at that verse, in verse 8. Zacchaeus stopped and said to the Lord, "Behold, Lord, half of my possessions I will give to the poor." What a change of heart. I believe the discussion of Zacchaeus and Jesus inside that house was about empowerment. Jesus empowered Zacchaeus. Maybe Jesus could have said to Zacchaeus, that's your past, but you can stop living that way. You can live a different kind of life. He became a giver. One thing that I realized, and I hope you remember this, your mess can be a message in the hands of the Messiah. Whatever past that you have done, whatever hurts you have caused other people, your mess, how messy that can be a message in the hands of the Messiah. In the life of Zacchaeus, he was a grabber before, but now he's a giver. You might say you're a bad guy, but you can be a blessing. You might say you're a source of grief to a lot of people, but you know what? You can be a source of joy. You might be saying, I bring chaos to my family. But maybe because of Jesus, you can bring change. Because your mess can be a message in the hands of the Messiah. Let me tell you this story. Do you collect any of these things? Those are considered trash, right? I believe a lot of people would just throw them away. Even me, I'm just going to throw them away. But there's this guy. His name is Pascal Martin Tayu. He collects trash. For what purpose? He's an artist. So when he collects trash, he will mold it, he will create something beautiful, and he's going to sell it, just like these things. He's going to sell it for as low as $30,000 to as expensive as maybe $200,000. That's a lot of money. And guess what? People buy it. So if this guy, who is imperfect, an artist, can create something, a trash, into a piece of art and sell it for millions of pesos or hundreds of thousands of dollars, how much more your messy life in the hands of God? I believe it can be beautiful. I believe God can change it. I believe once you've encountered and you've accepted the grace of God in your life, you can make a difference in this world. Your mess can be a message in the hands of the Messiah. God bless you, and I hope you enjoy your discussion time today.